The port of Saldanha Bay is South Africa's deepest port, accommodating ships with a draft of up to 21.5 meters. The Western Cape government has applied to the Department of Trade and Industry to designate the port an IDZ. A feasibility study on the potential industry clusters include an oil and gas supply hub servicing the oil and gas industry. BDFM talks to Alan Windy, MEC of Finance, Economic Development and Tourism in the Western Cape about the gas strategy.
Okay, we've been working now for quite a while on our gas strategy. I think we've got a very substantial gas strategy. We've completed it, taken it through Cabinet. We're now workshopping it through Eskom, through the National Department of Energy. We really are starting to build on this gas strategy. If you look at the South Africa's gas energy mix, it's been very small in our target space. So we're saying maybe we should actually lower some of the nuclear demand or future demand and start lifting some of the gas. And we think it's really pertinent for this region, because this region of South Africa, we've got solar and we've got wind. But solar and wind, they are not finite. The wind stops blowing sometimes and the sun stops shining sometimes. And gas makes good sense as the fill-in. So it's quick, it's a quick on and off. That's the first thing. The second thing is we already in this province have two gas turbines that operate, one in Mossel Bay and one in Atlantis. These gas turbines they're called gas turbines, but they actually run on diesel. They need to have a conversion. And what we are saying is, how do we then use that as a lever to get more gas into our market? And so our strategy that we're working on is, how do we get the gas that's being found in more and more abundance around our coastline. You know that we've already got Ibobesi gas fields off the Orange River Basin, but there's more and more gas being found up in Angola Way, and of course the big gas finds up off Mozambique, LNG. How do we get that into our system? So the first thing is to say, how do we get that conversion for those energy plants, which are peaking plants? They're very expensive on diesel, sort of 8-9 rand a kilowatt hour. Whereas at gas, we come down to 90 cents a kilowatt hour. It really makes a big difference to put gas into those systems. And then they can move from peaking to mid-range. But we see them as a lever to get gas into the system. Once you've got gas into the system, then you've got to invest in the infrastructure. And I don't see us as the government investing into that infrastructure. I see private sector coming on board and saying, how do we then become operators? And once we do that, then it'll change how we plan as government. So municipalities will then start, instead of just putting, when a new development takes place, either industrial or residential, they will say, how do we then pipe in not only water, electricity, sewerage, but you add gas to the mix. And then gas starts playing a role in our economy, in domestic space for heating and cooking, but in the industrial space for energy. And once we do that, we start changing the competitiveness of our region. So gas is absolutely a very, very critical part of the strategy going forward of the economy of the region.
VD Energy will be the first private company to enter the South African gas market in the Western Cape. VD Energy is currently building a liquefied petroleum gas handling facility in Saldanha Bay.
VD Energy is a fully integrated LPG company. It was established in 2007. Its sole purpose was to build the first purposeful import terminal for LPG in South Africa. The first opportunity, of course, is the more near-term opportunity, which is to provide South Africa with a secure supply of LPG. And once this facility is built, the perennial problem of shortages in the winter will disappear. So that's short to medium term. I think longer term, we expect a real growth in the usage of LPG in South Africa. I think historically there's been a disconnect between the price in South Africa and the international price. I think prices of LPG in South Africa has been set through gasoline prices, and there is still a disconnect between what happens in gasoline and what happens in LPG. I think with terminals like ours being built, South Africans would be able to get the benefits of cheaper international gas prices when they are cheaper. That's the real benefit. there will be challenges. You know, the TMPA has picked a terminal operator to build the offloading facility and the pipeline. If this is built in a timely fashion, it's not a problem. We simply connect to the pipeline. If it's not built in a timely fashion, it's a concern. There are clearly regulatory hurdles you must jump through in building a facility like this. We obviously have our concerns about the long process for obtaining some of these permits. The typical EIA in South Africa takes between 2 and 3 years. We feel obviously that can be shortened. We are in the tail end of that process. As far as our facility is concerned, by next winter, not the end of next winter, but next winter. Next winter, I say June of next year. If a pipeline is ready by that time, it's not a problem. If a pipeline is not, then I think we need to start looking, and I think the country, it's not just us, I think government and the public will demand that something be done. You can't have a facility, and it's a 300 million rand facility sitting, and South Africans have no gas because somebody hasn't come to the party as far as the pipeline is concerned. So I think we'll revisit those issues next year. Again, you know, we've been assured that the pipeline will be in place.